Hi everyone, this is Vivi. In today's vlog, I'm gonna share a book I just finished in 2 days. It's The Daughters of the Bamboo Grove by Babara Demick. Babara Demick is also the author of a few other books, including Eat the Buddha and Nothing to Envy. I have to say this book is so good, so insanely good. But her books share one thing in common. You cannot really do a thorough review. But Barbara Demick is definitely not someone who just criticize everything in a condescending way. Instead, her writing is very, very objective, very factual, and obviously she has spent years and years in the country investigating, and she definitely knows the culture. So, what is this book about? It's about two identical twins in the context of international adoption between 1990s and 2000s. One of the twins was violently snatched away from her uncle and aunt who she stayed with while her parents were working in the city trying to earn the family a better life. People who don't have the context may say, what the heck, how can a child be snatched away from his or her parents, her birth parents? But if you're like me, born in the country in the 1980s, you may know the story too well, just as I do. There were many, many kids at that time, like 1990s and 2000, especially in the rural areas, abducted, removed from their birth parents, sent abroad for international adoption with paperwork fabricated saying their birth parents abandoned them. Surprisingly, but not surprisingly, no, it's not a crime because it's actually from the top down. And these kids were removed from their birth parents violently to ensure the policy was enforced. Now, I think it was 2 years ago or 1 year ago, the country permanently stopped international adoption because there's no more baby to send out, to send abroad. The number of the population deaths, people who died, has surpassed the number of newborns. Now, the country has started trying different ways to reverse the policy to mitigate the damaging consequence from the policy, like starting from the 1980s, and we'll see if that works. And sarcastically, as mentioned in this book as well, many staff who used to work for whatever the organization trying to enforce a policy in the 1980s, 1990s, now have become the baby love advocates. There's also a book by a Chinese author, Mo Yan. The name of the book is Frog in English, Frog, Wa. It's a fiction about the similar topic, and I cannot remember if Mo Yan won the Nobel Prize because of that book, but I personally like this one better. Again, I think Babara Demick, the one thing I really, really like her is when she writes these tragedies, these crazy stories, like saying the Eat the Buddha, is just pure tragic. But she never writes in a condescending tone. When it comes to the twins, she's very, very empathetic for their parents, for their adoptive parents. And she genuinely raised a question. Is someone who got adopted by an American family and then grew up in a totally different country, who still bears the trauma from being removed from birth parents, is she really better off compared to the one who stayed? And again, I feel bad because I really love Barbara Demick's work, and similar to her prior books, reading this book gives me so many emotions, reflections, but I can never be explicit about any of those. But again, this book is just insanely good, especially when you have similar background as myself, born and raised in the country, especially born in the 1980s. And I think we are the only generation, if not mistaken, who embraced the impact. And I almost feel like kind of being left out. Alright, so this is today's vlog, Daughters of the Bamboo Grove by Babara Demick. Alright, see you next time.